You are watching a master at work.
In a world where the future collides with the brutal past, there lies a pit, a battleground where only the fiercest dare to tread. This is the arena of the Death Racers, where 3D printed precision meets medieval carnage. And every race is a fight for survival.
What's going on, friends? Sam is back once again. Just watching and editing that footage really kind of brought back some brilliant memories of why we do this and why this kind of project was really important to me and to a lot of people inside of this community. So if you've been part of this community, you've built a Death Racer, or you've sponsored somebody, thank you so much for doing that, because it all makes it well worthwhile, and good times are easily forgotten in some cases. And looking back at some of that footage, and you know, this all started from a really silly idea working with Joel Telling, and now it's kind of manifested into this whole big thing where all rep festivals basically have adopted the Death Racers. So guys, thank you so much for being involved and being part of that. Now, one of the major issues that we saw with Death Racers was people being able to source the kits and buy the electronics, and in most cases this tended to be quite an expensive route. In some cases, some of the Death Racers were costing, you know, $400 to $600 to source the parts and get the printed filaments, etc., etc. So it was beyond the reach of some people, which I think is a fair shout. But the whole project from the very get-go was all about STEM. It's about educating people, it's about influencing people and educating people ultimately, and that was a really big part of what this was really all about. So in a freak meeting that I had while I was in China last time with Big Tree Tech, we stumbled upon a method where actually we could probably buy these in bulk and provide them into the community at a very, very low rate. And if you're watching this video, you probably already know that for $180 now you can get the majority of the kit. All you need to then add is the batteries and the battery charger, because obviously shipping and stuff's a bit of a pain for that kind of stuff. But we have a kit, and I've got it right here. This was the prototype kit that we or Big Tree Tech certainly came up with, and you know, I want to thank Eric and the team down there for all their hard work with this. But inside of this box, there is pretty much everything you're going to need to assemble your first Death Racer. So the wait is over, thanks to Big Tree Tech. Thank you guys once again. Inside of this box is pretty much everything you're going to need from a component level. You will, of course, still need a battery. So that's a LiPo battery, a 7.2 volt LiPo battery at that. You'll need a battery charger for said LiPo, and then you're going to need 4 AA batteries as well. Obviously, shipping from China it's prohibited. We can't do that in this particular case without a whole load of reams of issues and stuff. But rest assured, if you are going to 3DPrintopia, you will get these sent just in time, and they'll be shipping either to your home or they'll be shipping to the event. Come and see me, and we will just make sure that you get your kit. You just need to show us your order number and stuff. But let's have a look and show you exactly what's inside of the box. So I'm not going to go through every single part and list it all out, because the BOM is already there. You can see that and you know what you're going to get ultimately. But let's just show you the parts. So we have some screws here, which is obviously useful. We have got the 25 kilo servo, which is the one for the boom at the back. That's just in there. And all the swing arm and everything is included in that. Now we do have these carbon rods. Now there are 2 carbon rods that actually go through the body, and this carbon rod then goes onto the back for the swing arm. In this kit there's only 1. We've now increased that to 3, so you don't have to worry about that. Also, the things that are not in this kit are the heat inserts, but we've now included those inside of the kit because this was the test kit for me to look at and just make sure that everything was kind of there. This right here is the ESC. This is the motor driver. This is what basically powers and turns those little motors that are inside of the DeathRacers. Now, the good news with this, and not to confuse anybody, but if you were an original kind of OG building one of these things and maybe an ESC blew up or anything like that, well, the reason majority of the time was down to the fact that we were running 2 lots of power into the ESCs. Now, this eradicates that because it's a 2-in-1 board. But in addition to that, you can't really go wrong because you've got your power to your receiver, and then you've also then got your kind of left and right. So you've got a tank drive formation on this. So this basically just sorts all of those problems out inside of one single board. So that's great. Now, so the next thing we've got is we've got the pins. The pins are for the tracks. So you don't have to cut them now. You can just knock them straight in. So print, knock them in, you're good to go. We've got screws galore in here. Now, this will all become apparent exactly what you're doing and how you're building it. We're going to be creating some more videos between hopefully now and the East Coast Rep Festival, or 3DPrintopia is now what it's called. We also have the couplers in here as well. More screws, more screws, more screws, more screws. And again, we'll do a more detailed video about how to assemble this stuff at some point in time, hopefully before the event. We've got bearings. So these basically sit inside of the frameworks. We've got the all-important kill switch, which goes on the head, of course. We've got a sticky tab. Now, this is going to be for the ESC to basically glue that in place so it's not moving around. Huge bit of health and safety there. Now then, we have got these ginormous motors. Now, these are 550 motors. They are still brushed, but they are pretty incredible for what we're getting here. Now, the other thing is Big Tree Tech, the guys down there have also printed a spacer. So all you need to do is basically add this on together, plug this all in, put your screws straight through here, and you should be good to go to mount these motors. And again, these are beefy motors, so we shouldn't really have the heavy as well. We shouldn't really have any kind of major issues with these things. I'm looking forward to it. These are 21T motors, so they look fantastic. Now, in addition to that, if you do decide to also put in your little mini servos, so the mini servos are for the hand movement, if you want to show that off. I've stopped personally using them because they do go wrong quite quickly. If you just want it for aesthetics, crack on with it. But the carnage that ensues from most death races means that, you know, things do tend to sort of blow out. So we've got a couple of those anyway, if you do seem to put them in there as well. We've also got a fan. Now, I'm assuming this fan is going to be for the ESE. If it's not, then it's just a fan. Right, what else have we got? We've got a connector here, so electronic connector, again, which is very, very good. Now, we also have this cable. Now, this cable is, again, for those arm movements, so you can basically co-locate that. So when you push it forward, both hands go forward, etc., etc. Now, let's take this out. And this, I guess, is what's kind of most impressive, is that you do get an RC controller as well. And it is a FlySky FSi6. Now, for $180, if you were to buy this on AliExpress or Amazon or whatever, this is going to cost you between 50 and 80 bucks, probably. Okay, so when you consider the overall costs here, for everything that you get inside of that, I think it's an absolute bargain. Certainly, as it was costing $400 down to $180. To buy this all as one big kit, I think is absolutely fabulous. So again, thanks guys for making that happen. Now, the next couple of videos will be around how to assemble this stuff. I'm going to set up some prints now. We're going to mount the motors inside of the shrouds and stuff. You know where to go. Michael Badley again has put these files together. We're working obviously with Ryan and the team at Offset Maker Lab. There are going to be some changes as we sort of move into the new year, and I'm working very, very hard in the background to try and make a sponsorship package, so ultimately you're able to get this kit, filament, and pretty much everything else you're going to need in order to race at one of the Rep festivals next year in 2025. And that should include the Rocky Mountain. It should include the Midwest Rep Festival, possibly doing something with open source. We're not entirely sure just yet. And of course, 3DPrintopia and Smurf. So to finish off 2024, we've got 3DPrintopia, and we've also got the Sanjay Mortimer Rep Festival, which is going to be held in Manchester this year. So get one of these, get it built, make it happen. Our sponsors for this year are Polymaker, of course, and also Creality, the 3D printing company. They are giving away prizes and stuff. So if you build one of these, if you make it in time, fantastic. If you have all the parts and you want to try and give it a go assembling it at 3DPrintopia, hopefully we'll have a team there as well that's going to be able to assist you with those particular things. But let's give it a go, see what happens, make it work. The other thing we're looking at right now, and this was something that Ryan shouted out about the other day, is printing for a buddy. So if you're going to print these parts and you've got a bit of extra room on your bed and you've got a bit of spare filament, maybe it could be a cool idea to maybe print some extra parts for other people so they can have a parts bin. You've got some spares, you can pick the stuff out of the parts bin and hopefully kind of fix your racer if you need it. Just before we go, let's talk about Polymaker sponsorship for this year's 3DPrintopia. Now, if you do print a racer and the side panel has the Polymaker logo on it, Polymaker has said that they will give you $50 in a voucher form for that side plate. So if you print that racer and you'd race with it at that particular event, you'll get yourself $50. Now then, if there's two side plates, which also have Polymaker on both sides, then they will give you $100. So double your money, right? Easy peasy. The other thing is if you do a full customized DeathRacer, so Polymaker centric all over it, logos, etc., full sponsorship package, they will give you $150 for a Panchroma Polymaker themed Fiberon DeathRacer. So if you've used their filament or have still got time to use their filament and you're using their new Panchroma or Fiberon stuff, go for broke. Why not? You're going to get your money back on the filament in any case, so it could be a lot of fun. So thank you very much to those guys. And to claim that, you'll need to be going to the Aux Hall at 3DPrintopia. That will all become apparent when you get to the venue. So I think that's pretty much all we've got time for today. We're going to start building the DeathRacers right now and get them ready for 3DPrintopia. If we don't see you there, then hopefully we'll see you at the Sanjay Mortimer Rep Festival in the UK in Manchester. There is more news coming. There's also going to be a talk at 3DPrintopia about DeathRacers and what we're looking to try and do in 2025. So make sure you are there. Any comments, any questions, there are Discords. I'll link everything down below. And guys, we'll see you soon. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.
You are watching a master at work.